CEO Roundtable. Before we start our discussion, let me invite my friends, Mr. Naval Gund from UK,
Good morning, everybody.
Miss Farida Charania from Singapore,
Hello. Hi.
and Miss Kanchan Verma from India.
Hello.
So, friends, today we would like to discuss about the impact of COVID-19 situation, lockdown, and what havoc it has created on us. With specifically discussing what impact it has on the media business. And as you know that media is a big segment. It has various different aspects. It has entertainment, it has news media, it has print media, and it has digital media. So whole lot. So what impact it has, and since we are not seeing too many movies coming out because of this lockdown, artists are not able to travel to studios for recording. Since there is nothing to edit, editors are not finding jobs to edit, and the whole lot. There are a lot of daily wagers who are involved in this industry which are getting impacted. So, Naval, what is your opinion? What is the impact in UK and worldwide? What do you see future of the media business?
Well, it's a really good question. It's a huge question to answer because when people talk about the media, they just think of the performing artists, those that are now moved on to YouTube or may have gone on to Zoom because the theatres are closed, the cinemas are closed, the open air theatres are closed. But we also should recall, the media is even bigger. It's the whole art world. So museums have closed and lots of work goes on in that particular arena. And then if you start to look behind the scenes, it's the agents of these people in the frontline media. And then it's the people that move all of the sets around the world, the musicians, the following musicians, the graphic artists, the designers, the costume designers, the makeup artists. This is a massive, massive industry. And it actually is probably the forerunner of the gig economy. In other words, it's one gig followed by another, followed by another. So all of these people that are employed in the media tend to move from one project to another, to another, to another. Some projects are quite long. Some projects are quite short. So a concert on a weekend, it's really quite short, and then everything has to be in one place at one time, and then all of a sudden it's dismantled, stuck on a plane or transportation and taken to another venue because it's a calendar. One follows another, follows another. And all of that has been decimated by this pandemic. So I did ask someone a little while ago, could they put a figure as to the size of the industry? Well, just in the UK, we are talking several £billions. And the UK is quite small compared to what's happening in the media. So it has had a big impact. And the funny thing is, we turn on the TV and we watch the news and we treat that as media. And yet, if you look at some of the news stations, the BBC inclusive, they've restricted, they've curtailed some of their activities. So this has affected everybody around the world. It's not just the UK. This has been devastating. So it'd be interesting to hear Farida and Kenchan's take on it, because India's 1.4 billion people, which is a damn sight bigger than the UK. We've got a mere 65 million here. So how's it affected you over there?
Yeah, I feel that whatever points you have put across, they are definitely worth discussing because the media industry definitely are the blow because they are unemployment, films are not being produced. But then media and communication industry are inherited linked to human behavior and perception. So we, especially in India, we enjoy entertainment and we find out the ways to do that. And I feel that digital platform has played a vital role in doing that. And I think media space being taken over by digital media, and many of the films are being produced on platforms like Netflix or Prime. But yes, there are some people, a chunk of people who are working, supporting this whole industry. They are jobless because there's no movie which is being produced physically in the studios. So whatever they are doing online, and sometimes they are separately doing. I mean, individualistically, they are approaching and showing their creativity. So that is a quite a grim situation, and we need to discuss out and maybe give a solution to these frontline professional who support. It's a frontline as well as support professional to really work for upliftment and work for this media.
I'll just pick this up from where Kanchan left. I have a slightly different view on this. I don't think we can offer solutions to people who are jobless because of this pandemic and because of this entire shift, because that's going to be difficult. I live in a very small country. We are less than 5 million people, but still the loss of jobs, specifically in the media industry, is huge. Now, if you look at 2020, it's been a watershed year for the media and entertainment industry. Consumers and advertisers are actually shifting to digital channels, and they are expecting greater value for their time and money. They are also raising the bar for the customer experience. And competition is intensifying quite heavily to, basically be able to use this granular data which is available on the internet, and, to actually improve the customer experience. There are different business models which have come up, or rather they've mushroomed so quickly to evolve, to accommodate this new class of consumers and create hybrid monetization, opportunities as well. Now, even the platform companies, so if you take example of India, the OTT platforms are already under scrutiny, and they have been, kind of put under the same radar as films, medias, etc. So it's not all that hunky dory. Maybe the delivery has changed, but still, work is going on in the background, and, probably the medium is shifting. So the brick and mortar and digital world, the gap is widening, which was anyways expected, but COVID somewhere accelerated it. Now, job losses are mainly in the areas in the brick and mortar industry, for instance. If you talk about a theater, someone goes to a theater for an experience. And to provide that experience, there are so many people who are involved. There are people who are involved in serving you at the cafeteria, suppliers to the cafeteria, the ushers who bring you in, the staff that the theater actually employs. And these are people who are actually losing their jobs because the entire activity has gone down so much. I don't think it is so much editors or, the lightmen who are part of this, because still the production is going on. They are definitely impacted, but perhaps to a lesser level than people who are in the brick and mortar spaces. For instance, the museums, they are closed, and all of those people might not have jobs after, the government support schemes end. So because it's not going to be very easy for all of this to come back to pre-COVID levels very quickly. So it is a big problem. um, we cannot offer a solution. We can discuss it and probably offer some advice uh, based on our experience and what we see, because we are from different parts of the world, so we encounter different situations. But would love to hear your take on this, CK. What do you think?
Well, Farida and Kanchan, I think you summarized the whole problem quite nicely. I will break it down into smaller chunks for the benefit of our discussion. For instance, when we talk about print media is the worst affected segment of that market because nobody's buying any magazines, nobody's buying any entertainment, and nobody's certainly buying any newspaper. And most of this media was dependent on the advertisers. So advertisers have gone and found a different medium, which is the digital media, what Kanchan was mentioning. Most of the advertisements are now happening on the digital platform. So the print media is suffering. In fact, there are a couple of very popular print media in India are closed. The shops are shut. So when I say the shops are shut, it's the print media which is shut, and they have prudently transferred their business to the digital platform. So all of those print is now available on the digital platform. So Farida, I fully agree with you. They have found a different way to stay relevant. However, the physical print media is almost almost non-existent basically. Now let's look at the TV platforms. In my opinion, the TV or the entertainment on TV or the news on TV also runs on the advertisers. So this situation of COVID has created a snowball situation in the market where when some merchandise is being advertised on TV, the chances are people will go on the digital platform like Amazon or Walmart, and they will pick up that merchandise from those platforms. Now, since nobody is watching these TV ads, or nobody is selling these merchandises, or nobody is buying these merchandises, whatever the situation may be, the advertisers are not spending too much money in advertising itself because people are not buying in abundance as they were doing in 2019. And since the money is dwindling, the financial impact on the TV platform is also huge. So when we look at the next level, which is the bigger level of movies like Hollywood or Bollywood, uh, there were about 700 to 800 movies, mainstream cinema that used to come out from India, and almost similar number used to come out from LA. So those movies employ at least a million people across India and America. Those people are totally jobless. There is no light boy. There is no daily wages. There is no extras which are being deployed. So while people can come out with a new way of doing things, but that affects only the cream de la cream of this market segment. The lower people are suffering. So I think that for us, when we are discussing this matter, I think we should also give little bit of guidance in terms of what these people should be doing. If these artists are good, really, and they are forced to work as extras, I think here is an opportunity for them to really showcase their skills because now there is no bar, there is no as we say, there is no media agent. If you are good in your skills, here is a digital platform, leverage it for free and showcase to the world what you can do. What is your opinion, Neville?
I don't know about leveraging for free because there's always a cost to these things. And remember, some of these superstars are not used to doing this like impromptu Zoom arena. They're still in the world of the lighting needs to be right because actually they're portraying their persona over the screen. Whether it's a Netflix type screen or just a PC screen or what have you, they're still trying to put a message over. These are professionals, let's face it, at the end of the day. And indeed, we've seen some of that happen in the UK. There's been some really interesting new releases from a few very good actors, Martin Freeman being one, who's probably well known for The Hobbit, etc. And Sherlock Holmes, he was Dr. Watson. He and a few other people have done really interesting shows on the TV. In fact, one group has put a whole pantomime together on the TV, which, on the screen, let's say, wasn't on the TV. So there's been some ingenious ideas that have come through, but I think we need to go back to the root cause of this. And the COVID pandemic hasn't really changed anything apart from it's accelerated what was already happening. People's behavior was changing. You mentioned initially, TK, the paper media. newspapers, articles, magazines. All of the newspapers in the UK have all moved onto a digital platform. Not just in the last year, but they were all already moving there because they could see that print media was really on its last legs. I mean, we've heard this. I mean, I've heard this for over 20 years. You know, no one's advertising in print, except, but they still did. You know, no one is going to pay for printing, but they still did. So, what COVID has done is it's accelerated the process. And the interesting thing is people's behavior is accelerating this process, not because we're now being driven by what the media wants us to know about. So let's look at Netflix. Farida mentioned bricks and mortar. Well, apart from a few buildings that Netflix rent around the world, they're just another Facebook, another Uber, and another Airbnb. They really only had a great idea, and that idea actually sits in the cloud, and they're just streaming what we want to see. You know, this is what we want, remember. So the people that are going to make the real benefit out there, are going to make that real transition, is to listen to your customers. I mean, I don't know how many times we've said this in the past. You know, if your customers are asking certain things of you, give them it, because that's what they want. Don't give them what you think they need. Give them what they want. And I think this is polarized, actually, the issue in media as a whole. And I don't think we're going to see newspapers as I knew it, have ever known it, ever again. I can't see newsstands ever having even free newspapers anymore, because I think we've just gone away. We're scared of touching things that might contain a virus. You know, this is what's going on up here. We need to recognize what's going on. Whereas my iPhone, my PC, I clean it. It's my responsibility. My TV, my home, everything's going to be streamed into the home. And we just have to wake up to the music and just get on with it, really. So think about where your customers are. We've said this time and time again in coaching any business. It's not just my view, by the way. Thousands of people are saying the same thing. It's just a question of when are people going to listen.
We in India, we have a projection that India would have a billion digital user by 2030. So, and then I feel that this all been accelerated due to COVID, because everybody wants to see and enjoy in the comfort zone. Apart of this, there are many home productions which have opened up. So there's no limitation. If you have a skill, if you have creative, you can work from your home and provide your message and creative things through media, digital media.
I just like to add to this. One of the other things that has happened, which could be viewed as an opportunity as well, because content creation has started outpacing the ability to monetize. Again, CK was saying that if they have the skill, they can showcase it for free. And, so based on those lines, yes, there are platforms available to showcase your skills for free. And there is now not much difference, or the lines between, say, amateur, professionals, creators, distributors, it's all kind of fading away. So there is an opportunity for someone who's really, really talented. But I'm talking mostly about the performers and people who create that performance. I'm not talking about the people who are impacted by this because they are the support staff. They are not part of the creation process. There is also tension between profitability and distribution, because this is the time to disrupt. Everything is changing. So what worked for you last year is not working for you now. So again, the advertisers have moved their advertising spend to channels where they are getting a response. So all of that, like print media, yeah, it's dead. I kind of completely understand, and it's going to change the consumer behavior, because now we are so scared to actually touch any surface we are not aware of, right? Even if you go to a restaurant, you would basically see that it's been cleaned before you actually take your table. So I think that also is something which is changing. A lot of regulations will come in as well, but that will not hold back disruption, because this is anyways expected. It's just that, like Neville said, it's COVID has accelerated the pace of this disruption, and the consumer behavior changing, and the delivery of entertainment or media changing. Yeah.
And just picking up on that, behavior change. We're now seeing Universal Studios, for instance, that have taken that leap of faith. They're the first one, and what they've done is they've decided that all new releases next year will also be streamed live from the date of release. Will that change me? Actually, no, it won't change me. If I want to go and experience the new James Bond film, which has been, Sony were releasing it in March of this year, and then we were told it was September. Now we're told it's next year. I want to see the James Bond film. I don't want to see it. I've got a very big TV screen. I've got a 72-inch TV screen. I still don't want to see a James. I want to experience that James Bond film in a cinema with the surround sound and all of the shaking seats and goodness knows what else, and the crowd that are there as well, because this is a community type of experience. So have Universal jumped the gun? No, not really. They're just recognizing, I believe, that different people want different things. And equally, they're reaching a far bigger audience. So maybe you will see it on the TV and think, well, maybe I won't go and see the cinema. And if it's so good, you go to the cinema. So this is almost like the classic consultancy arena. I'm going to give you a little bit for free. I mean, these streaming program, I mean, $5.99 for a month of Netflix. This is not expensive. That's pounds or dollars. It's not expensive. But if I want to see a movie that I've seen on Netflix, I will go to the cinema, because that's my second behavior. And interestingly enough, it was always my second behavior. I'd much rather see a trailer and then go and see it if I really want to see it at the cinema. So again, we just need to be looking at what consumer behavior is doing. We are changing, and we're changing quite rapidly. And remember, some consumer behavior has killed companies off in a matter of months. I mean, on the UK high street, we've seen so much devastation. And I'm not talking about COVID now. I'm talking about pre-COVID. Toys R Us. Toys R Us was an experience. If these type of companies have recognized that Disney has it right, that if you imagine that Disney ride that you would go on lasts about 2.5 minutes, 150 seconds. That's not a long time, and yet you're queuing up for an hour on some of these Disney rides, but you're entertained for the whole journey. And I think this is where, Disney, when you think of Orlando, when that was opened well into last century. So just imagine what a little mouse has done for us over the years and where it's gone. And even Disney have moved into the digital arena. They bought Pixar. Very smart move, So companies can be ahead of the game. I know what I'm talking about, big picture stuff here, but at the end of the day, that's going to drive everything that happens with us. So this could be an exciting time for people that do things slightly differently and just don't accept the norm, because the norm has gone.
I like to also make one observation. You see, when everything is moving to digital media and the OTT is becoming more and more relevant, there is a need for consultant who will guide these players in terms of
Yep.
regulations. Because now with OTT, when you start streaming your content on OTT, will follow the government regulation. What you can stream, what you cannot, what format, etc. So there is a new breed of media experts which are required here to guide all of these people to ensure the government regulation across all countries. So you see, what is happening is that while the constitution of each country gives freedom of speech, freedom of expression, however, because of OTT coming and becoming relevant, there is going to be regulated. The media itself will get regulated directly or indirectly. So I think these are all very profound changes, because one side we say freedom of expression, and other side we have to follow regulation. So I think this is interesting time, as you said, Neville. The whole lot of changes are happening. The new opportunities are coming. As in this discussion, we identified that there could be streaming experts, there could be consultants who will guide people on legal aspects. There could be new type of camera, there could be new type of editors required, there could be new type of storytellers, um, and so on. There could be animation work required, there could be green screen experts. So who knows, I mean, the whole scenario is completely changing. And Neville, I think you made one comment that it was always happening. The pandemic only accelerated the whole matter. You see what was going on. If somebody is shooting Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. will wear a suit and basically stand in front of green screen. So they pretty much do the same thing, standing off in front of a green screen, but at a home.
Moreover,
Yes,
I
very
think
true.
addition
It's
of
very true.
yeah, there will be an addition of new user every year, so that makes the digital platform more reachable, and it's more required by media people to really use this platform.
So I think this is a very vast subject. Probably we can break it down into smaller chunks in future edition of CEO Roundtable. Um, but I think we have just touched the surface, and we brought out some of these opportunities and some of these threat areas for the media professionals today in our discussion. So I like to thank all the panelists, Naval, Farida, and Kanchan, for finding time and joining us for this important discussion.
Pleasure.
Thank you
Bye,
so much.
everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
Bye bye, and
Bye
we'll
bye.
catch up in the next CEO Roundtable.